Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. Gene Joke here, and today I'm adding the Curse of Illmore Bay to my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever. The Curse of Illmore Bay can be found on the Indie Heroes Collection 4 and is a Halloween-themed action platformer developed for the Sega Mega Drive by Second Dimension Games. It's a platformer where you control one of three kids, or statues of kids that gets animated to come and fight an evil Halloween demon. It has some nice presentation, with the story being told through cutscenes, including some suitably bad poetry. The overall presentation is good, really leaning into the Halloween theme, and the graphics are pretty good as well. While certainly not the best you'll ever see on the Mega Drive, they absolutely capture the Halloween theme between the backgrounds and the enemy designs. It's very much on point. On the audio front, the sound effects are perfectly functional. There's some grainy voices here and there. The music is probably the strongest element of the game. There's some absolutely banging tunes. It's on point for the Halloween theme and good catchy earwormy stuff. So all in all, the visuals, presentation and audio, they do exactly what the game is trying to do, and they do it pretty well. The gameplay is fairly standard platforming stuff. You run along, you jump on platforms, you take out enemies, you collect keys to allow you to exit the level. Fairly straightforward stuff. You also get a bunch of extra abilities, a dash, a fireball type thing, and a sort of flying floaty thing. You can only use these as long as you have the relevant amount of energy for them, and managing that energy is essential as these abilities are required to get through a number of the levels. Again, fairly standard stuff for a platformer, as are the bosses. There's an overland map and you can revisit levels that you've previously defeated, and there are some secrets along the way as well. And you're probably looking at this footage thinking it looks like it could be quite a fun game, and sadly it's not as fun as it could have been. There's some technical issues. Sometimes you're playing a game, you'll start a level or you boot it up and everything's running far too fast. That will sort itself out after a few seconds, but it can be a bit disorientating. What really kills the game is the collision detection, mainly on your attacks, as it's quite unforgiving, meaning you'll often take damage when you're attacking enemies, and some of these enemies can be a little bit bullet spongy. Not that you're really firing bullets, but when you're having to kick enemies repeatedly to defeat them, but the combat isn't exciting or engaging enough, and you end up playing far more cautiously than you might otherwise, because you could just die at any moment due to dodgy hit detection. The movement also feels a bit more stiff than you might like, and I have to say that the level design isn't the most exciting or engaging either, nor are the bosses are overly impressive. If you've previously played Ira the Crow Maiden, you'll probably be fairly familiar with how this game feels. However, this game was developed before that, even though it's come to Evercade later, and it does show that he clearly made some improvements for that game. So it shows that the dev is going in the right direction. Sadly, yeah, as for this game in itself, it does fall short of its potential, but if you can overlook the flaws or have the patience to deal with them, you might be able to find some fun with it. Just keep your expectations fairly low, as it's a sort of game that if you had it as a kid, if you bought it as the only game you had for a good month or so, that you could convince yourself that you liked it and that it was good, but deep down what you'd really be feeling was crushing disappointment. I have been meaning to do a full playthrough of this game this month, spread out through the month. There's a whole thing going on the Evercade Discord with doing the Curse of Illmore community playthrough. And I started it. I did the first couple of levels and I kept meaning to get round to doing the rest of it, and I just kept procrastinating to the point that we are now on the 28th as I record this, and I still haven't picked it up again. Although I did enjoy it enough to persevere and play through it in full when the cart first came out. Yep, that's a truly glowing recommendation, isn't it? Anyway, I suppose I should place it on my ranking list, and I'm going to place it above Treasure Island Dizzy, but below Punch King. And I think that about wraps things up for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.